Welcome guys to the working guide number 6. This is the last one for this second partial. So I'm going to explain what is the thing that you have to do for this working guide. So the first thing that you you are missing all the time is your name. So remember, the student name has to be here as well as your group, okay? So my recommendation to you is to read the objective of the class, because here you can see what is the thing that it's supposed to be done, how and why or what for. So read it. There's always one in the working guides. So let me explain you about the activity today. This is only one activity, basically, for this working guide, number 6. You are going to analyze environmental impact cases or study cases. So you have to pick three cases from this list. This list has specific topics with an ecological relevance. Some of them are newer. Are really kind of new, like plastic waste and COVID-19. It's kind of new. And others like this one, like the super bypass of Guadalajara, is kind of old, but it's still important for us to understand the topic. So you have to pick 3 from this list out of 6. And let's see one example of the thing that you have to do with the case that you pick. Here is my example. I use as an example the coral bleaching. This is a topic that I think most of you are aware of, this issue happening in all over the ocean. So you are gonna fill a chart like this one with your own topic. You are gonna write the topic, and then you have to describe the topic as well. This is like a short description of what is coral bleaching. I'm explaining what coral bleaching is, but really in a brief way. It's kind of just to get to know the context of the topic that we are gonna investigate a little further, like in this chart you will see. So first topic, and then the context, the description, is just to synthesize the topic. And then we're gonna get to understand, we have to understand the causes and consequences, but in terms of environment and in terms of social economics. So here I have a list of causes, environmental causes that are creating the problem, that are causing basically the problem of coral bleaching. So El Niño and La Niña phenomenon, remember that is when we have these extreme variations of weather. So that is one environmental cause. It's not human related. We are not causing it. Probably in an indirect way we are causing the El Niño, but it's something usual. It's something usual to happen. So El Niño and La Niña is one of the causes. High solar irradiation as well, extreme low tides. And here are my environmental causes. And I have my environmental consequences. The corals are susceptible of disease. There is a decrease in refugee and spawning sites or marine fauna. Spawning means that there are no places to have new species. So that is kind of like the meaning. The actual meaning is desove. Sitios de desove. So small marine species have nowhere to protect themselves from large predators, because coral reefs are like a buildings protection, are like a walls to protect animals, species there. So extinction of marine species is another consequences. I will say that is the worst one. And then I have, well, that is for the environmental term. And then we have to understand our topic in terms of socioeconomics, causes and consequences. And I have the list here of socioeconomic causes. There is one that is the most common cause is the climate change. And I have a list as well of emission of greenhouse gases, increase of ocean temperature and fresh water, and this is because of the melting of the pole, this one, the fresh water. So when we are talking about climate change, I wanted to specify which features of climate change are causing coral bleach. And that's why I put these three here. Another cause is the runoff of agrochemicals from rivers to seas. Is when all of the chemicals that we put to grow food are absorbed and they are going to the underwater rivers and they end up in the sea. So that's another cause. Trolling is the big the fishers. The fisheries are using this technique. They drag from the bottom of the ocean. They drag the ocean, especially because they want to obtain shrimps, and they drag the bottom of the ocean floor, with these big machines. So they break down the corals, and well, eventually they are gonna die because remember, sea corals are more susceptible to disease. And illegal extraction, sometimes by big tourists are they want to have something from like a souvenir or to create handcrafts. And sunscreen, another cause. It's proven that sunscreen is causing a lot of damage, especially in Australia. In Australia, they have the biggest coral reef barrier in the world, and the sunscreen is causing acidification. Is one of the causes of acidification, and the consequence is corals are dying. And well, finally, I have this list. I found that there are economic consequences, especially, well, there are a lot of economic losses because of the decrease of tourism, and also because the fishing industry, they don't have a lot of fish to catch, so they had to go they have to explore more because they don't have enough fish because remember fish is dying because the lack of corals. So another consequence, a socioeconomic consequence, is the decrease of protection against floods and tsunamis, because basically corals are one of the barriers that we have in the ocean that are slowing down the currents. They slow down the currents, so without the corals, the hurricanes are gonna hit us in a stronger way. So another consequence. So basically what I did here is to explain the topic about coral bleaching, but dividing into causes and consequences. And the last thing that I did, and you have to do, is to create your list of sources. This is very important because you are gonna do it this way, in this format, in the APA format. In your when you go to college, you are gonna do it like this. So there are a lot of citation generator machines in Google, so it's kind of easy. Just look for those automatic websites that they are gonna help you to create this list. So this is my list of my sources of all of my information. So in your working guide, you have the charts here to fill with every case that you want to investigate. So remember that the topics, you have to choose the topics from this list. Construction of the super bypass of Guadalajara. This is what we know in Spanish as macrolibramiento. So this is killing primavera forest, so it's an interesting topic. Wildfires in the primavera forest, very common every season. We have those. Construction of the Mayan train. Oh, this is trend. This is like a really important topic because it's causing a lot of issues, a lot of problems in the Mayan area. Totoaba poachers in the Sea of Cortez. This is interesting because Totoaba, remember when I told you in class that Totoaba is very expensive? The bladder of the Totoaba is very expensive. It's some fancy dish in the United States. So it's killing. It's killing other species like Vaquita marina, for example, because Totoaba it's a big fish, but Vaquita marina uh, eats the Totoaba fish. Devilfish and lionfish plague in Mexico, the Mexican Caribbean especially. These are invasive species. And finally, the last topic that you can choose is plastic waste and COVID-19. This is related to a lot of medical instruments, but it's a really interesting topic when I was looking for this one. So that's it, what you have to do for this working guide, the number 6. This is the last one for the second partial. So if you have any doubts about the topic and about how to do it, just send me an email or a message in Classroom, and that would be all. Thank you, and I miss you guys. I hope you're doing well in this quarantine. Bye.